In January 1939, Nazi Germans on a secret expedition arrived in Dronning Land, Antarctica. Although Norway had made claims to Dronning Land, the Germans disregarded this, and on arrival they punctured the ice with German flags and draped swastikas from their aircraft, marking a new addition to the German Reich. Authorized by Hermann Goering, the expedition had been sent there with the aim to locate a possible whaling base, as with international tensions growing, Germany needed to be self-sufficient. But with the war approaching, the expedition had a second, even more secret objective: to establish a German base. They christened their new territory Antarctica Neuschwabenland, which translates to New Swabia, after the German city. In March, encouraged by the expedition's finds, Germany made an official announcement that they had discovered and mapped large new areas of Antarctica from their aircraft. A series of future expeditions were planned to take place soon after, but by September, Nazi Germany was at war. Historians, such as Colin Summerhayes and Peter Beeching, state that the declaration of war meant the end of the Nazis' ambitions to build a secret base in Antarctica. But could it be possible that in the depths of the Arctic ice, the Nazis had succeeded in building their base? Was Neuschwabenland the last true Nazi stronghold? On the 10th of July, just 2 months after Germany had surrendered, the first of 2 Nazi U-boats docked in an Argentine naval base. The emergence of these 2 U-boats set off speculation about the objective of these last war submarines and what they were doing in the southern hemisphere. Were these U-boats completing the final mission in the relocation of the Nazi regime? One of the captains of the U-boats, Lieutenant Otto Wermuth, had chosen to dock in Argentina as they assumed they would have been well received. In fact, an estimated 9,000 Nazis relocated to Argentina in the years after the war. Was there another benefit to the Nazis re-emerging in Argentina? Geographically, it would be the perfect location to bridge the modern world with a base in Antarctica. Suspicion increased, and journalist Ladislas Szabo published a detailed account in the Argentine newspaper La Critica, reporting that Hitler hadn't committed suicide but had fled Germany in a submarine and was hiding in Dronning Land, Antarctica. The story was picked up and major newspapers worldwide ran the headline, "Hitler's on ice in Antarctic." 2 years later, Szabo solidified his theory in his book, Hitler is Alive. According to Szabo, the Nazi base was the size of a small city. The base served as a refuge, sheltering hundreds of people who, if Germany lost the war, could continue to make powerful new weapons for an eventual resurgence. Beuchner and Bernhardt, conspiracists who investigated the story, reported that by the middle of the 1940s, submarines were bringing in vast stores of food, clothing, fuel, and every other conceivable item necessary for setting up Hitler's refuge. During the next 4 years, shelters were built, and a mountain was scooped out. It was reportedly powered by a vast network of underground warm water rivers, geothermal lakes, and volcanic activity. Whilst there are active volcanoes and hydrothermal vents of hot water in the Antarctic, volcanoes and geothermal activity are more than 1,200 kilometers north of Dronning Land, the reported site of the base. Whilst there is no known photographic evidence for the Antarctica base, writers such as Szabo have relayed unconfirmed witness statements, including that of Admiral Dönitz, a German naval commander who served as president of Germany for a month in 1945. Reportedly, Dönitz told the Nuremberg trials that the Nazis had succeeded in building an invulnerable fortress, a paradise-like oasis in the middle of eternal ice. In December 1946, American ships reached Antarctica as part of a classified mission named Operation High Jump, involving 4,700 men, 33 aircraft, and 13 ships. It was the largest ever expedition to Antarctica. Declassified documents reveal that Operation High Jump's official goals included consolidating and extending United States sovereignty over the largest practicable area of the Antarctic continent. But conspiracy theorists Matten and Friedrich claim there was an ulterior motive for the expedition. According to them, High Jump's leader Admiral Byrd admitted the objective was to break the last desperate resistance of Adolf Hitler. Beuchner and Bernhardt claim that the American group anchored near the German-claimed territory of Neuschwabenland and then divided into 3 separate task forces. It is reported that the German base was located quickly by Byrd's crew, but the operation was cancelled after they were attacked by German flying saucers. In the aftermath of what he had witnessed, Admiral Byrd reflected that, in case of a new war, the continental United States would be attacked by flying objects which could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Historians, however, have stated that the Americans did not find a German base, and their quick withdrawal was in fact due to the early onset of winter. It is speculated that it wasn't until 1958 that the Americans had finally developed weapons to match that of the Nazis, the W-25 warhead. In the southern hemisphere, America secretly dropped 3 nuclear weapons. Neo-Nazis such as Wilhelm Landig believe these attacks targeted Dronningmord land and finally annihilated the last remnants of the Third Reich. However, declassified documents have now revealed that these nuclear attacks didn't occur in Dronningmord land, where Norwegian, Belgian, British and Japanese scientists had been living since the war. The nuclear explosions in fact took place 1,760 kilometers southwest of South Africa, and aimed to investigate the effects of a nuclear explosion outside of the atmosphere. Historians Summer Hayes and Beeching have worked hard to debunk the myth surrounding Hitler's rumoured Antarctic base. Whilst there are elements of historic truth to the legend, they argue that it is wrong to weave individual events in Antarctica into a cohesive narrative without evidence. Nevertheless, the conspiracy has thrived. In the 1970s, a re-emergence of neo-Nazi writers, such as H. Stevens, claimed that the Nazis had survived the nuclear attacks, protected by their vast network of caves deep beneath the mountains. Stevens predicts that a massive Nazi military force of highly advanced UFOs, known as the Last Battalion, are still active in Antarctica, and when the time is right, this base will be the launch site of a new world order.